you've touched on, even covered, I could say, you've gotten right into a lot of different musical styles, hard
Yes.
rock, blues. Well, you know what you've done. Is there anything you can imagine?
A lot of different waistlines as well.
That's a different interview.
Oh.
But genre-wise, is there anything you can imagine getting into or have thought about getting into with the cult that you haven't yet?
Well, I'd certainly like to venture into opera. I'm fascinated with opera. I love musical theatre, and opera is an area. I'm a big fan of Andrew Lloyd Webber's Jesus Christ Superstar. The is it Norman Jewison film? I've seen the original cast perform it, and it's powerful. I mean, I love live theatre. Live theatre is very exciting. The idea of doing something in that area. I think that hip-hop is an area that you have to be very... It's got to be the right fit. I mean, the idea... I'd never attempt to try and create, something that sounded like it was done by Odd Future or something. I mean, just be ludicrous. It'd be absolutely ludicrous, and I wouldn't even try that. I did hear that Bruce Springsteen made a hip-hop record that never came out. That was unreleased.
Oh, really? No,
absolutely.
I hear people say that one song on the new record has
I've heard that it's
bit of
sampling and some break beats, and it's moving that direction. But the idea of working in a hip-hop vernacular would have to be something like cinematic, more like Uncle, with break beats. And, I think Kanye West's kind of production, I could maybe lend my voice into that area. But but more if I was doing something melodic, I mean, I certainly wouldn't attempt to rap. It would be no, that wouldn't be right for me.
I mean, you could always try it and just not put it out if it's...
I just don't feel it. I mean, honestly, I don't feel it. What I really do feel is the breakbeats and the samples and the. I mean, the production on My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy is incredibly produced record.
Yes. Yeah.
You can't take anything away from that.
Yeah, it's amazing he did that one in less than 3 years. Just so many different styles, so many
different producers,
so many vocalists, everybody
was on that. And the samples, I mean, from Black Sabbath to Bon Iver to King Crimson.
King Crimson, right.
Incredible samples. And the man's brilliant. We just don't need him telling us.
That's
Thank
part
you.
of his appeal, though. I mean, I think one of the best things I ever read about Kanye West is his ego is a tangible
but you know what?
character, really.
I was wearing Jordan 1s when they came out. And we'll leave it at that. It's like street culture's been around for a while.
Yeah.
There is no dawn of street culture. There is no number one savant who knows everything about urban and street culture. It doesn't exist. It's been through many, many hands, many generations. Andy Warhol was doing it, etc. I mean, Coco Chanel was doing it. The dandies of, Oscar Wilde was doing it. It's dandyism, style, fashion, street culture. It's been around for quite a while. So, salons in Paris, pre the French Revolution. People concerned about image and music. Mozart was doing it. Look at that guy's outfits. So it's been around for a while. So to come in and kind of claim it for yourself, belongs to everybody.
I do agree that every argument that we have nowadays about legitimacy in music, what has certain credibility, that's
big topic of conversation.
And it's
authenticity,
never not been around.
Legitimacy. I mean, like one-upmanship. People do the cliff notes. They come in the claim in space. It's about being in first. I mean, when you hear like guys dropping lines about Margiela or Rick Owens or bringing fashion designers into songs, then we're in a very interesting time. But the cultural references and I make my own clothes. I made these trousers I'm wearing today.
Did you really?
Yeah, I've had a label that since 2005. I just don't.
Oh yes.
I just don't go on about it. In fact, I don't want people to know about it.
Yeah, well,
fans.
There's that, and people who are interested in that know that. People who are interested in other things that Ian Astbury does, they know that.
Yeah, cool. I have a life outside the band that's more in that end of the pool in terms of street culture and high end, that kind of space. Yeah. I mean, that's why I lived in New York. That's why I had to be at the epicenter of it, and that's where I go when I get into a bigger environment like Tokyo. I disappear. I'm gone. I mean, Harajuku, Shibuya, Aoyama. A lot of my friends are more in fashion and stuff there, so, yeah.
Well, I'm getting totally lost in this conversation.
No, you're good.
Honest, yeah.
You're good,
Oh,
baby.
thank you. All right. Well, whatever you do, be it rapping or some kind of concept album, anything, love the new record. Can't wait to.
Thank you. Do you know what? I'd love to work with something like Crystal Castles.
I can see that actually. And did Robert Smith do?
Robert Smith
a
did.
song with him? Yeah,
And I
he
was like, damn. I wish they'd asked me because I do it for free. I mean, if they called me up and said, actually, you know what's really interesting? When we did Born Into This, guy that worked at the label was Canadian, and he said, who do you want to do a remix? I said, Crystal Castles. And this is way early on. And they actually started on a remix, but never finished it.
I would have been really interested to hear that.
In 2007, that would have been really interesting. But we've got a few things in the pipeline right now that's going to surprise a few heads. They'll be like, oh, really? The Cults are working with somebody, we've approached somebody, let's say, is in the Illuminati of the hip-hop community. And I think that people will be very, very surprised. If we pull this off, it's going to be a big shock.
Really?
Certainly, Pitchfork Media will not be able to get their heads around it.
If I guess correctly, will you say yes?
Sorry?
If I guess correctly, will you say yes?
I can't say yes, but I can maybe give you a warm.
Is it the RZA? That was the first person that popped in mind.
Warm. That's all I'm going to say.
Good enough for me,
Yeah.
All right,
Your spider senses are tingling in the right direction.
Yeah, now I'm excited, yeah.
That would make sense, right?
Yeah.
I think so.
To me, I can hear it as soon as you said hip-hop Illuminati collaborate. That's what occurred to me.
It's a very rarefied airspace. But I mean, you know what? Ian Astbury on a Kanye West record, I'm down for that.
Why not?
But, look at my credentials. Trent Reznor and I nearly started a band together called Storm Group. That would have been interesting.
That would have been really interesting.
It's not always about the guy with the leather trousers and the cowboy hat. That was a pop moment. We're allowed that. Everyone's allowed that, I think.
Absolutely. Well,
I did do a collaboration with George Strombinopoulos.
Did you? I heard that was good. I haven't
Yeah, with our shirts off. That'd be good.
Yeah.
Like a good Greek wedding song.
Yeah, that'd be
dope.
weird,
That'd be pretty good.
good.
We could do the Canadian national anthem together in Greek.
All right, we're recording this. We're going to use it as a spot
Oh,
on George's
dear.
show, probably.
Whoops.
So.
Sorry, George.
Yeah, well, you know what? I think on that note, Ian, thanks so much for
Adam,
coming by.
thank you, baby.
Awesome talk.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.